On Monday, the DOJ urged a federal judge to reject Comey's claim that his prosecution is punishment for criticizing Trump. Comey is referencing, among several other things, Trump's social media post in September where he urged Pam Bondi to go after Comey, Adam Schiff, and Letitia James. Trump's lawyers say that Comey has been indicted because he lied to Congress, and that Trump's social media posts suggest that Comey committed a crime and is not direct evidence of a vindictive motive. The next day, it was Election Day, and Democrats were able to secure gubernatorial victories in Virginia and New Jersey, as well as the mayor of New York City. However, the most impactful victory for Democrats was the passing of Proposition 50 in California that allows the state to gerrymander its districts. This will potentially give California 5 more seats in the House, which is enough to cancel out the 5 seats Texas could pick up after Trump urged them to gerrymander their own state. On Wednesday, Trump responds to the election results, where Democrats won by big margins, by urging Congress to end the filibuster, or else they won't be able to pass any legislation or hold on to power. Trump ended his speech by praising China's President Xi and his ability to rule through fear.
And last night, it was, not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think it was good for Republicans. I don't think it was good. I'm not sure it was good for anybody. But we had an interesting evening, and we learned a lot. But I thought we'd have a discussion after the press leaves about what last night represented and what we should do about it, and also about the shutdown and how that relates to last night. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans, and that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor. So as you know, we are in the midst of a disastrous Democrat-created government shutdown, and it is Democrat-created, but I don't think they're getting really the blame that they should. That's now officially the longest shutdown in American history. The Democrat radicals in the Senate have shown zero interest in reopening the government, and I don't think they'll act so soon. A lot of people disagree. I've been saying for the last 30 days, we've had 4 or 5 different points. Yes, sir, they're going to get it right now. We should have it done in a day. I've heard that about 4 times. I heard it after Kings. They said I was a king. And I heard it after Kings. I heard it after a couple of other moments in time. And I said, no, I don't believe so. And now I heard it's after the election. I don't believe so. It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3 1/4. We have 3 1/4 years, so that's a long time. But when they can't do an extension, and John, I think they've done an extension every single time they've ever been asked forever. This is the first time they haven't done an extension. Extensions are supposed to be easy, but if they won't do an extension, they won't do any bill, even a simple bill. And we should do our own bills. We should get out. We should do our own bills. We should open up. We should start tonight with the country's open. Congratulations. Then we should pass voter ID. We should pass no mail-in voting. We should pass all the things that we want to pass, make our elections secure and safe, because California is a disaster. Many of the states are disasters. If I thought that they weren't going to pass the filibuster, I wouldn't even bring it up. They're going to pass it within the first hour. If they take power, and it's more likely that they take power if we don't do it, because we're not going to be passing any legislation. They're not going to approve anything. We're going to go 3 1/4 years. There won't be one bill that we're going to pass. Because the easiest thing to pass is exactly right now what they won't pass. And they'll do that, and they'll wreak havoc. But let's assume they get in. They're doing it anyway, so it wouldn't matter. They're doing it anyway. We will pass legislation at levels you've never seen before, and it'll be impossible to beat us. By the way, if they do, they're going to do it anyway, and they are going to immediately do the filibuster. And when they do the filibuster, they're going to pack the court. They want at least 5 justices. Now I hear it's up to 5. I actually heard up to 7 and up to 9, okay? They're going to pack the court. They're going to make D.C. a state, and they're going to make Puerto Rico a state. So now they pick up 2 states. They pick up 4 senators, okay? You think you have problems? They're going to do all of the things. They're going to pick up electoral votes. It's going to be a very, very bad situation. And it's done. It's done. As soon as they attain power. Now, if we do what I'm saying, they'll most likely never attain power, because we will have passed every single thing that you can imagine that it's good and all good for the country. and there'll be no reason to. If we don't do that, people will say they're not doing much, and they're in power. And we'll have this country so perfect. We will have passed more legislation than any Congress and any group of senators or a group of congressmen. And we will get it through. They'll send it to us. We'll send it to them. It'll be a beautiful machine. 2 months ago, it looked like the whole world was in trouble over rare earth. And that's no longer even a subject that people talk about. It was all worked out very quickly. Without tariffs, I couldn't have done it. I put a 100% tariff on China. As soon as I heard it, within 20 minutes, I put a 100% tariff on China. On President Xi, who's really a friend of mine, as much as he can be a friend. He's a tough man. He's a tough man. Smart man, actually. Very smart. The press doesn't like it when I call him very smart. You know, they think I'm not supposed to call him smart. But he leads 1.4 billion people without question. In fact, during the meeting, we were there. A couple of you were there, and some of you saw it. So he's here, and he's got about 6 people on each side. And every one of those people was standing like this. They were at attention. And I made a comment to one of them, and I got no response. I said, "Are you going to answer me?" I got no response. And President Xi didn't let him have any. So if there's any question, I said, I want my cabinet to behave like that. That's the way I'm demanding that I want them sitting up like that, Tim, just nice and straight. I never saw posture like that. I've never seen men so scared in their lives. They have the equivalent of a vice president. He was. I said, "Are you going to answer my question?" And he's like, he doesn't move. I said, "What's wrong with this guy?" "I will answer all questions." Why don't you behave like that? JD doesn't behave like that. JD buds into conversations. I want to have that for at least a couple of days, okay, JD? We'll keep you long term, but a couple of days of that would be very, very nice. Okay, I want to thank you, and we'll talk a little bit. And
the next day, a federal judge orders Trump to fully fund SNAP benefits in November. This order was in response to Trump only offering to cover 65% of the benefits after a court ordered last Saturday that Trump must use emergency funds to fund the program through November. The Trump administration quickly appealed this new order. Then on Friday, the Supreme Court granted Trump an emergency appeal to temporarily block a court order to fully fund SNAP aid. Justice Jackson paused the lower court's order until it can rule on whether to issue a more lasting pause. Her order will be in place until 48 hours after the appeal court rules, giving the administration time to return to the Supreme Court if the appeals court refuses to step in. The next day, Trump told the owner of the NFL Washington Commanders that he wants his name on the new stadium. In April, $4 billion was estimated to be spent to build the new stadium, and Trump has already threatened to hold up the deal by insisting the team change the name back to the Redskins. Trump is planning to attend the Commanders football game on Sunday, and some speculate that he could announce the renaming at that time. Finally on Sunday, Trump posted a fictitious headline on social media with no links to its source that former President Obama was collecting royalties from Obamacare. The article is from a satirical news site called Dunning-Kruger Times that specifically says on their website, "Everything on this website is fiction. If you believe that it's real, you should have your head examined."